I don't have a normal video for you today. I have something absolutely exceptional. I have commented exclusively for you a legendary debate. Imagine in the same room three brilliant minds to talk about the biggest mystery of all, consciousness. On one side, Sir Roger Penrose, physicist, mathematician, Nobel laureate, known for his theories linking quantum mechanics to human consciousness. On the other, an Italian giant, Federico Faggin, physicist, inventor of the first microprocessor, the touchpad, the touchscreen. One of the fathers of technology, who for years has dedicated himself to his quantum theory of consciousness and acting as a catalyst. Bernardo Kastrup, philosopher, one of the most important voices in the contemporary debate on the nature of reality. This incredible conversation was published in its original language by the Essentia Foundation YouTube channel, which we thank. I am proud to bring it to my channel to analyze the key points and comment on them together, trying to understand the profound implications of this clash of titans. Follow me, because we are about to touch the foundations of reality. Before starting this journey, if you love science that dares to ask the big questions and want to support unique content like this, click the subscribe button and activate the bell. The debate opens on a point on which Penrose and Faggin agree. Consciousness, intelligence, understanding cannot be computed. As Penrose himself says, a computational system, a computer as we understand it, will never be intelligent in the true sense of the word. But here their paths to diverge. Let's start with Sir Roger Penrose. His idea, which he has been developing for decades, is that consciousness is a physical process that emerges in the brain. In particular, according to his theory developed with Stuart Hameroff, this happens at a quantum level within cellular structures called microtubules. For Penrose, however, the secret is not in the quantum mechanics we know, which he considers incomplete or even not entirely correct. The real mystery, according to Penrose, is the collapse of the wave function. This is the moment when the quantum world, made of infinite superimposed possibilities, becomes the classical and defined world that we perceive. For him, this collapse is not caused by a conscious observer, but an objective physical process, which happens independently of consciousness. This process, according to him, is governed by a new theory that we do not yet have, a theory that will have to unify general relativity and quantum mechanics. In practice, consciousness is the result of a physical process that is not computable and is linked to a deeper physics that we still have to discover. Federico Faggin, on the other hand, completely overturns the table. As he himself says, he starts from an idea as simple as it is revolutionary. Consciousness and free will do not need to be explained. They must be postulated. They are fundamental properties of the universe, not something that emerges from physical processes. According to his vision, the quantum fields themselves are conscious. And the collapse of the wave function? Not a mysterious physical event, but precisely consciousness itself, which, through an act of free will, chooses what to manifest in the classical world. In short, for Faggin, it is not physics that creates consciousness, but the existence of consciousness and free will that explains why quantum physics has the crazy properties it has. And precisely to better understand this fascinating and complex vision, I would like to point out that on the channel, you will find an interview with him where he explains in detail the points of his theory. And here, allow me a comment. Do you understand the abyssal difference? Penrose has an approach that we could define as bottom-up. He starts from physics, from matter, and tries to understand how consciousness can emerge from there. It is a more traditional but also cutting-edge approach at the same time, because it refers to a physics not yet discovered. Faggin, on the other hand, has a top-down approach. Consciousness is the basis of everything, ontologically primitive, and the physics we observe is a manifestation of it. They are not just discussing physics, they are discussing the very nature of reality. It's a philosophical clash even before it's a scientific one. At this point, the philosopher, Bernardo Kastrup, intervenes, adding fuel to the fire. He says, "I'm with Faggin," and he adds a bombshell. I don't believe that collapse really happens. According to him, collapse is an epistemic event, not ontological. What does that mean? Ontological means that it really happens in reality. Epistemic means that it only happens in our knowledge. The wave function would not be the real state of the world, but only our mathematical model of probabilities. The collapse is simply the moment we acquire new information. Here Penrose shakes his head. As he says, it is undeniable that we perceive a classical world. If there isn't some kind of real collapse, how do you go from the soup of quantum probabilities to the solidity of this table? For him, denying collapse means denying the evidence. And this, guys, is the heart of the mystery of quantum mechanics for 100 years now, the famous measurement problem. The fundamental question is the world blurred and full of potentialities until something, gravity for Penrose, free will for Faggin, or an observation for others, forces it to choose? This debate shows us that this question, posed by the founding fathers of quantum mechanics, is more alive and unresolved than ever. Key discussion then shifts to a very hot topic: artificial intelligence. If consciousness is not a calculation, then, as all agree, no AI based on classical computers will ever be conscious or truly understand what it does. It will be able to simulate intelligence, deceiving us, but it will always and only be a manipulation of meaningless symbols. As Penrose says, the danger is not that machines become more intelligent than us, but that we start to believe they are, risking our very sense. And this is a very powerful point, especially today, with the boom of linguistic models like ChatGPT. This debate puts the current frenzy over AI in a completely different perspective. Penrose and Faggin are not discussing whether we have achieved sentient AI, but whether it is even possible in principle with current technology. They tell us that we are confusing an incredibly sophisticated simulation with the real thing. We are mistaking a parrot that perfectly repeats human words for a human being who understands the meaning of those words. So, what do we take home from this extraordinary debate? We take home the awareness that the greatest minds on the planet are still grappling with fundamental questions. We don't have answers, but we have incredibly profound perspectives. On the one hand, Penrose's vision pushes us to seek a new physics, a theory that can finally explain the link between matter and mind. It is an invitation to continue scientific exploration with audacity. On the other hand, Faggin's vision offers us a Copernican revolution. It asks us to consider the possibility that we have always looked at the problem from the wrong side. That consciousness is not a final product of the universe, but its source. In conclusion, this debate does not give us an answer, but it does something much more important. It raises the quality of the question. It forces us to question our most deeply rooted certainties about reality, about matter, and about ourselves. It shows us the humility and wonder of true scientific research, where even giants like Penrose and Faggin admit to being at the confines of knowledge, gazing into an abyss of mystery. And it leaves us with a fundamental question that I turn to you. What defines the human being? Are we incredibly complex biological machines in a material universe? Or are we individual expressions of a fundamental consciousness that permeates reality? Which side are you on? Tell me in the comments below. If you enjoyed this journey to the frontiers of science and want me to continue creating unique content like this, support the channel. Leave a like, share the video with those you think might appreciate it, and if you haven't already, subscribe. Thank you. See you in the next video.